You did it to me. Earlier in the gospel, we saw a man who had made so much money out of his harvest that he sat back to enjoy the rest of his life, which ended that very night. This is not the way to make friends with one's material goods. In one sense, there is nothing wrong with having a lot of wealth, with having a lot of money. There is nothing wrong. It is how we use it that is the question. How do we make use of that? If you can trust a man in little things, you can also trust him in greater ones. In other words, if we can be trusted with the material goods that come into our lives and use them to build the kingdom of God, to create a more just and equitable society, then we can be trusted with something much greater to live forever face to face with our God. If you cannot be trusted with elusive wealth, who will trust you with that which lasts? And again he says, if you have not been trustworthy with someone else's money, who will give you what is your own? And that reminds us that the material goods that comes into our life, no matter how they may be having acquired, do not absolutely belong to us. They do not belong absolutely to us. Everything on this earth belongs to all. We are only the stewards in charge, the stewards about what has come into our possession. And we will be judged on how we make use of it. On our own use will depend to a large extent our receiving the one thing that will really becomes our own, the unending happiness that God wishes us to have in company with Him. And this leads us to the next warning, that we cannot be at the same time give ourselves totally to God and become slaves of money and the material. We saw that in the case of the rich man who wanted to follow Jesus. He could not let it go. He was attached to it. He was a slave of his possession and could not surrender his life to Jesus. Many of us think that we can, and we try to compromise, but to give ourselves to God completely, we must become free of the lure and the attachment and the love of money and the acquisitions of material things. It is not money as it is the love of money that is the problem. It does not mean that we do not have money or material things. We need to have them. But what we do have is ultimately usefully for God, for God's love and service, and the love and service of our fellow brothers and sisters.